All right, let's imagine just a little bit of a scenario here. So let's say you're new to flying FPV drones. So you decide, I'm gonna buy one of these pre-built bind and fly drones. So I think I should probably define some terminology just in case there's any noobs out there. So the first term that I'm going to define is FPV drone. Simply put, an FPV drone is just a drone that you fly with goggles. That's it. Now, what I'm specifically talking about are FPV drones that you have complete and total manual control over, or acro control. All right, so another term, bind and fly. So basically, bind and fly is a word for an FPV drone that you purchase that comes with the radio protocol you use and the video transmitter that you use. And all you gotta do is bind it to your radio and it'll fly. Hence the term bind and fly. So you get your fancy new bind and fly iFlight Nazgul or some shit like that. You go out to the park or wherever and immediately you just wreck it. You break an arm, the VTX is like hanging out, dangling off the back of it. So now you've basically broken your drone and you have a couple of options here. You can either just buy a new one and say, F it, because maybe you're just made of money, or you can order new parts for it and then attempt to repair it yourself. Now, if you're out at a place like this, where there's a lot of dangerous obstacles like plows and concrete, I don't know. I personally think it would be better just to build your own drone, because if you get a bind and fly and you're flying a place like this and you're doing freestyle and you crash and you break an arm or you break a motor, you're gonna have to fix it anyway. Or, worst case scenario, you blow out an ESC, then you're gonna have to take the whole thing apart and essentially build your own drone anyway. Here's a good example of what could happen to any FPV drone that you're flying near concrete. So basically this gap right here, I was trying to go up here and then dive into this, which I did the other day, but today I guess I did not do it. Now, another phrase or term that I want to talk about is FPV freestyle, because I think a lot of people have a different understanding of what that means. But what I'm talking about freestyle is I'm talking about taking your FPV drone and flying it in places that risks your drone, not just flying in circles in a park and then doing a roll. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, if you're just like flying around a park, not really doing anything risky, it's probably not that big of a deal to just have a bind and fly. You know, just buy a $800 7-inch or a $400, $500 5-inch, and that's all you're gonna do. And honestly, if you're gonna buy one, here's my recommendation. If you're gonna buy like a pre-built drone, go to rekt.com/deadsale so I can get some money from it, you know, referral code, give me that affiliate money, you know what I mean? Go find their pre-built drones, and they have like a Vanny style and like a Demibot, and I think they might have something else. And also, when you're at it, go to deathquads.com and buy a t-shirt. And if you're watching this video, use promo code in the screen here. There's a promo code here, and you'll get 10% off. And so bind and flies are typically gonna cost you just a little bit more anyway. And so you go, you fly it, you crash it, and you gotta rebuild it. You're gonna be spending more money in the long run. You're always gonna be spending money if you're flying like aggressive freestyle all the time in places like this. You're gonna break stuff, you're gonna have to repair it. It's just the nature of it. So really it just comes down to how much work do you wanna put up front. Do you wanna spend the time to build a quad all the way through and then crash it and fix it? Or do you just wanna get a quad to fly and then crash it and fix it? Because eventually you're just going to be building the drone anyway. So this cup right here is full of various flight controllers, motors, ESCs, etc. that have died. And most of them died via crashes. So I have 6 dead Happy Model ELRS receivers. But side note, don't buy those. But either way, they quit working, and that could happen to any receiver. Even if I had purchased bind and flies or pre-built FPV drones, I would have still had to take the thing apart and replace various parts. I think another benefit to building your own is that you get to experiment and figure out the types of things that you like and the parts that you like, because some frames fly differently than others and motors feel different. Some motors have worse durability. So it's really about fine-tuning your preference. I guess the moral of the story here, there's really no moral to this story at all. Basically, if you want to, build your own drone, do that, or buy a bind and fly, and then ultimately fix that bind and fly until you've basically built that drone yourself. Third option is just be really, really rich and just order new bind and flies every time anything breaks on the bind and fly you just bought. Another option is to get a DJI Avata, break that, and then have DJI repair it, or get it from Best Buy and then break it and then take it to Best Buy to use their insurance. There's a million options. DJI Avata is gonna fly like shit though, so I wouldn't recommend that, but if you wanna do it, that's also an option. One thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to take the 7-inch, my long-range drone, my 7-inch long-range drone, and then I'm gonna parallel 2 6S batteries together, and I'm gonna do a little bit of freestyle. Nothing crazy, nothing too dangerous, because I don't wanna, I don't wanna crash this thing. That's the last thing I wanna do.
There used to be a guy that would bring his Falcon.
His what?
Falcon.
Like a bird?
Falcon. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And one day it was up at the top of the tree and it wouldn't come down. He hit it with a slingshot till it fell out of the tree.
Wow.
Didn't kill it, but it shook it up.
Stunned it, yeah. That's pretty neat.
You guys training for Ukraine?
No, we don't do that.
No,
we don't even
not.
support that. So, not Ukraine, but just drones.
I'm not sure what any of this has to do with building your own drone, but I did build that drone. But every drone that I fly, I've built. I don't think I've ever purchased a bind and fly. I didn't even buy one when I started. Much to consider.